Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's great to be here with you today on Inspiration with Dr. Ballah. Today is an honor. I'm hosting Professor Mogana S. Flomo. He's our guest today, and he has an interesting story. And it's an honor to have the professor with us, and he gonna be inspiring us today. He has a very interesting story, and it's an honor to have him with us today. And before I bring him to the screen, he's a man with wisdom, I would terms that, and he's a professor, he's a teacher, and he's a grandfather, he's a father, he's a mentor, and but with all of that, there is something interesting about his willpower, a man who came from what he terms from dust to permanent. And there were all the reasons why he should have just remained on the ground and just, remain in the village and continue to complain and continue to cry and say that's the end of life. But he put himself with all of the motivation and everything in him on into here and came to the place of not just being one ordinary citizen, but a man of permanence. Educated all of his children, not just a secondary education, but I mean higher education and at the level of PhD. So we honored to have with us today Professor Mogana S. Flomo Sr. Welcome, Professor.
How do you do? I'm okay. Hello,
Great.
everyone.
Good. Thank you, Professor Flomo. I was talking to Naomi. I said I wanted the profile of Professor Flomo, but then I was like, no, I don't think I would be able to introduce him very well the way he's supposed to be introduced. So I will allow Professor Flomo himself to say um, in the very best way because introducing someone like you require summarizing like or else we spend the whole day talking about you, but
So,
definitely I try to just put in a summary, but then I think yourself will be able to say it better. Who is Professor Mogana S. Flomo Sr.?
thank you very much. Professor Mogana S. Romo is a Peleme from Bon County. He was born in the village in Belemo. He was born in the swamp where the mother and other people have gone to weep grass from the rice. And he was born in the swamp there. The first food that ever entered the mouth was a mud, the swamp mud. You see how God is good for a mud young baby. You put mud in the mud to take it in with all the dirt and all those things. But we thank
Mark,
God.
like for the layman, you mean you're talking about the dust, right?
Yeah, the dust.
Hmm.
So from there, um, there was a challenge. Anyway, plenty challenges in my head. But I was not a physically challenged person from the beginning. I came up very fine with my brothers and sisters in the village, and we used to go on a farm. But all of a sudden, a ball came to my hair, on my hair right here, and people said to my mom, "No more over there. Kill this guy to Fokwale to take injection." That's the only thing they knew. And they carried me there. I walked from our village to Fokwale. So I went and saw some boys playing football. I mean, Ganga ball from Firestone. So I joined them. And people chasing me all around town. They got me, they carry me. A dresser, somebody who is not a medical doctor or is not even a trained nurse. A dresser, somebody that can wash soul, and they say they're a doctor. count, they will give you injection. I mean, we didn't know the difference.
Mm.
And they carried me, the man gave me the injection on my butt, and that was the end. My body trembled from my waist down. From that time, I never walked.
Wow. So,
So
Professor Flomo, how old were you at that time when this, aid gave you this injection that,
it was like
changed the story of your life?
it was like somebody like 9, 10 years.
9, 10 years old boy. Wow. 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 That's very interesting. Actually, this is one of the reasons why I really got inspired with your story as a medical doctor and talking about the importance of health and just practicing medicine with passion to see someone who lives changed, who entire story changed because of a medical practice that kind of really bring me to the place to tell myself that this profession we are involved in has a lot to do. I consider angels on earth we should be able to help, but also we could be very dangerous that could instead of helping and we could instead harm, and that's very very important. A 10 years old boy just got an injection and the entire story of his life changed. He couldn't walk again. Wow. So, with that interesting story, I want to know, definitely, like you started saying, a 9, 10 years old child who was taken to a clinic and aid gave an injection, he ended up becoming disabled. Definitely, there were a lot of challenges. But what was your greatest challenge growing up in that kind of situation as a young Liberian boy?
Our people in the village those days had a belief that it would be the cause of your parents or grandparents were involved in witchcraft practices, or even you yourself, who is a disabled person, you might be a witch. So, number one,
Even
that was
even even after getting an injection, they still thought maybe it could be a witch.
no, they did not remember that. They didn't know. They didn't know that it was the cause of that. When I started to recall, when I went to school, I started doing biology and so on, and I learned. I also decided to work in the hospital in Jowa. So I learned about the injection, the areas that injection is supposed to be. Then I said, wow. And then they accused the woman that are next to that as small as she was the cause. She was a wish for me. So they made me to believe, everybody believed that she was a witch. She was not, she was just sad in her body. So after I discovered that, I came back. I told her, I called meeting. I said, no, you are not the one. I learned that when I went to take the injection over there, I, I walk after the injection. They said, no. I said, it was a cause because untrained person gave me the injection. That was a cause. It was not the lady. She was not there. So the challenges I faced, people told their children not to play with me.
Wow.
They isolated me in the town. And number one, my father said he could not send me to school. But
Wow.
what good would that be if I go to school? What I would do? I don't
Mm.
work, nothing at the camp. So he decided to send the other siblings in school and left me. So
Wow.
when they come from school, they will be speaking English. I don't speak English. I don't understand anything. If I tell them what he's saying, they say, when we finish, we'll tell you. It was something that was heartbreaking. So that was the greater challenge where everybody
So,
was looking at. Don't follow that wish.
mm, so in that situation, how did you? It would be interesting to know that you are a professor, and you didn't just go to school, but you went and begin educated, and you came back to be also be able to educate other people. How did you manage to find yourself in
Yes,
school?
yes, because these boys and girls that are from my house, my father sent them to school. My uncle sent them. They have my uncle children, myself, and other people, but they sent all of them to school. When they return during vacation, they speak in English. So then I said, no, I want to speak English myself. And I decided to go to school. And they said, no, you can't go there. You have to go to the farm. You'll be on the farm to be managing our chicken. When we come in the morning, we'll tell you, we'll give you small thing. We'll bring small cooler and other things. But I insisted. I said, no, I want to go to school. I want to learn how to speak English. That's how I went to school. And to leave from our town to go to Fokole to go to school, it was a distance. When the people going for weekend, I could not go with them. If I go, like we used to open in February, if I go to school, I will not go for weekend. I will stay there. When they are going, I close the door. I live inside until they come back on Sunday evening. So, but God help me. I was understanding my lesson very well. I was studying very well, and I started to grab the lesson. So from there, I pick up. I was getting double promotion every year. I getting double promotion. I get promotion to the next class, and at the end of the year, I go to the next class. So all those that were in school before me, I went
You
beyond
went
them.
ahead of
They were
them.
below me. So from there now, I started going to school, learning everything, and I didn't take anything for granted. Taking into condition that I have, I said no. Anything that I will come across to learn, I will learn it the best.
So you are like, there is
Because
no wasted knowledge here. Like you
yeah,
making use of every opportunity.
in
Yeah.
fact, I saw the people going to Pele school. I went to the Pele school and I do the whole school. As a
Wow.
I can speak Pele and read it well.
Wow. Wow.
Right now,
Wow.
as I speak to you, I am teaching Pele in Cyprus International University. I'm teaching Pele there right now with
Okay.
all the other courses I'm teaching, management
Wow.
courses.
Professor Flomo, that the story is interesting, but how, especially when your parents decided that it was not necessary to send you to school, and later with your persistence say you were able to get to school, what convinced your parents that when you really wanted to go to school, are you gonna make any change, because you were
No,
persistent, it's just like, okay, let's give it a try.
no, my father was not convinced. My father was not convinced. It is my mother and my sister, my elder sister from one mom. They got convinced. They said, "But let the man go. If there anything will be sending a fool."
Okay.
So, and they thought I was just going to come back. And I went and I say, I didn't come back. I was going to come doing the break.
The break.
And God helped
So,
me. I went through everything.
so everyone has something that inspired them. I can tell you for sure. Your story is a motivation, is an inspiration for many people, even your children and your grandchildren. One of your granddaughter is my daughter, and she believed in me. She looked up to me so much, and I love her. I also believe in her potential. I have realized that your story, in fact, is the number one motivation for what she wants to be. That have kind of define the path she wants to take in terms of perfection. So my question is, who or what motivated you to, like, I must go to school and I will be this and I will be this and I will be this? Who was that person, or what was the particular situation, apart from just wanting to speak English? What really
Yes, yes,
motivated you or
yes.
inspired you?
My uncle was the paramount chief in the chiefdom. And he asked my father to make a communal fund. They made a fund, and he bought one Mercedes Benz, black Mercedes Benz. Those days, if you get Mercedes Benz, people respect you much, and they respect you. They drive the children not to come around the car. So I sat down near the house, and I saw the car, and I said, I will buy a car like that. In my mind, but how do I buy the car? People say, you're joking. I said, but I'll go to school. When I learn, and I'll be able to buy a car. That's how I got motivated to go to school. Every time it will ring that I want to buy a car. I want a car. And you will not own car if you are sitting at home, you are not going to school, you're not qualified, nothing the camp. So I decided to work hard, be educated, then I will work and get money and buy a car. And I've been buying plenty car now.
So did you really buy that same kind of Mercedes? It should be a kind of old-fashioned car nowadays.
Yeah, I bought Mercedes. I bought Mercedes and other cars. I bought Mercedes. I sat down in the
Wow.
Mercedes. I said that this is the kind of
This
car that
is
I
the
wanted to
dream
buy.
comes true. Yeah, I know that feeling when you have, a motivation, when you have a dream, when you promise yourself that, this is what I want to do, and when that dream is fulfilled, it is a complete different feeling, right? I told myself as a child that I wanted to be a doctor, and it was a very tough journey. But
Okay.
I graduated from college. I've been to different graduation, but the day I was graduating from medical school, and just that feeling that I am a doctor today, I can't just compare it to any other feeling. It was just so much different. Like, wow, I have dreamed
Very,
of becoming this, and today I'm a doctor. And so I know that
very,
feeling when you promise yourself, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to be. When it's being fulfilled, it is a complete different atmosphere. It is a feeling you never, never forget. And so that was really
yes.
interesting that you could say to yourself that, a car that my uncle have, I'm gonna buy myself a car, even though people say I'm disabled. That's very interesting. And you didn't just buy a Mercedes. Now you buy any model you want to, right?
Plenty. I got lot of different cars.
And so let me go to the next question I want to ask you. I was on Amazon. I saw, a highlight of your book you wrote, titled "From Dust to Prominent." And definitely everybody was like, okay, but Professor Flomo's story, that's just a good title. And you mentioned in your introduction that as a baby, the first food you ate was a dust. Your mother put a dust into your mouth. And today, even though you begin disabled along the way as a child, but you still pull your way through to the place of permanent. And so that's very interesting, right? Before you talk about the book, well, that's the reason why you named the book "From Dust to Permanent." You want to tell us, how you carved the title?
Not really because of mud, but I was looking up to where I'm from, where I was regarded as nothing in the society. Like as a child, everybody said, "No, don't follow that one. Don't follow that person. That wish." And I mean, people look down on you. So, and you have that kind of poor background, and nobody care to send you to school. Nobody care to buy you clothes. You get one clothes for a whole year, and so down the line going, I feel that I was in the dust, and from the dust to prominent, it means I had to fight my way through, make sure that even people say you can't make it, but with the persistence from my side and God blessing, I had to make it. If I see my children around me, my grandchildren, all going to school to learn, out of country to learn, it means I have become a prominent person. I don't have to be having millions of dollars to do, but I'm very proud that all the children I have, they are all educated. The last child is in Morocco right now.
Great. So, what motivated you to write this book? You have just, you have come from dust to permanent. That's you. You achieved. That's okay. Why you decided this is something good, because that one of the reasons why we having you here today. We think this kind of story should be heard. There are people
You
who need
know,
to be inspired. You
yeah,
know, before I let you talk about the book a little bit, I personally have been inspired from books written by people I have never met before. But there's just so much I've learned from those books. And so I think it was a worthy cause. But what put you, was is the story behind From Dust to Permanent, this book?
it means that anybody can change. If you
Anybody.
determine to change, you will change. You can come from nowhere and become somebody. So I try to inject that title for people to see that you don't if you don't have to be way up there before you strive to become permanent. You can you can work hard based on yourself, what you want to do. You focus and don't let anything to detract you. Like you just told me about your vision to become a medical doctor, and that's what you are looking up to. You have a lot of graduations going in place, high school, college, going to school, do all those kind of things. But the day you receive your degree as a medical doctor, your belief, your plan will actualize. So I believe that looking at my condition to live on that level and become a university lecturer and be able to be to advocate for people who are destitute in society, to talk for them, to make sure that those people that are left out, nobody want to pay attention to them, that I can talk for them. I can talk to government and they can listen to me. I can talk to organizations and they can listen to me. So it means that I didn't stay where I was born. I didn't stay in that condition. Right now, as I speak to you, I don't even feel the physical challenge issue. I don't feel it, because everything that you would think of in life that can make you worthy, that can make you to live happily, I have. So that's the reason why I make the book and I say from dogs to prominent. And that is my memoir to inspire anybody. Some people get right now, you go in the street, you go to Monrovia, you go to any other corner, you see the people, they standing in the street begging. When you have all the legs, you have all the everything correct, you are not insane, then you begging. Why you can't go and do something that will help you do something better? That's the reason why.
Wow. So, what are some of the things you mentioned in this book? Do you want to say one, two, three things in this book that people will really want to read about?
Yeah, I mentioned one of the areas about how I got my wife. Can you
Mhm.
imagine you're a disabled person want to marry somebody who is not a disabled person, and the parents don't want you? I mentioned that in the book, and how it
Wow.
came up. My wife became very strong. She said, whether this man is anywhere, anything, he's the one I want. And
Mm.
she is the one I get. I have all my children by. We have 7 children, 5 guys and 2 women. They are all educated. So
Seven.
she made a very big decision, and that one. Then the second the second one is when I started building house or horses, I look at myself. I said, you mean that me? If I want money to go buy plane, to go buy this one, I just take the money and go buy. I don't ask anybody. I said, no, this is very important. And 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 you people from the people from the village where they're from, the boys and the girls, all of them turned around again. They started behind me. They made me their chief. I started
Wow.
leading them. I started to lead them. So all those things were mentioned in the book.
Wow. Wow. So this is very interesting, and I would encourage those of you who are watching us on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. You can go to Amazon. It's a very interesting book. You can buy it. You can get it. It's called From Dust to Permanent, and you just put it in there. You can get his book. I think it's a lot is in that book. A story of a physically challenged African who rise from dust to permanent, and you're hearing, from him right here, and he his story inspired me. His his life, his motivation, his determination is something that is a story that has so much lesson. And apart from just being a Christian, he has so many reasons why he could just give up, right? But he's a Christian, he's a man of faith, and he's a man who have inspired thousand people by his faith, his determination, and he spread that love. You see Professor Flomo, from we've been here almost 30 minutes, he's been smiling. He's a very happy man, and we are glad to see that
Okay.
he has so much to inspire people for. So, Professor Flomo, what would be your parting statement if you would talk to young people in Liberia, young people around the world who
Um,
maybe think there is so much to stop them? What would be your encouragement? What would be your parting words?
I think God made everybody very good. God made you as a special person. So the only thing I want is people to focus. Just focus. Look at today and look at tomorrow. What you will do today will determine who you will be tomorrow. So it is very good that you focus the future, good thing for the future, and work for it today. Just like you want to go to school. If you want to pass, you have to study your lesson. So I encourage all young people to be very much focused and believe in God. God is carrying you, but God will not put everything He gave us will, so that we will be able to use the wisdom and work hard for the future. If you think that manna will come down and fall down for you to take it, that lie. The only way you will get your manna on you work hard. So I admonish everybody to work hard, to work very hard. That's
Wow.
that's that's the key that we need to do. I want to thank you. I want to thank Dr. Ballah. Myself, when I saw the name Dr. Ballah, I became impressed. I said, but I want to see Dr. Ballah, because the Ballah name is a Liberian name. And the spelling, I checked the spelling, is that Liberian name from Lofa, to be exact. Even though all banana from Lofa, they may germinate from Lofa, but that
Yes,
name is attached to Lofa.
this one is from Lofa. Yes, you are right.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Professor Flomo, for joining us today. Thank you for inspiring us. In Professor Flomo words, be focused. Whatever you do today will determine what you become tomorrow. God made everyone equal, and as to what you want to be and how you're going to achieve that is based on your hard work, hard work, hard work. And so I don't think there is anything that can stop you. So those of you who think society can define your future, your destiny, can decide what you're gonna end. No, they may call you Zogo, they may call you disabled, they may call you whatever name. If you make up your mind that I want to change my story, you can change your story. Thank you so much, Professor Flomo, for joining us and inspiring us, for sharing your journey of inspiration with us. Keep
Thank
focused,
you.
work hard, and do your best. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Professor Flo.
Thank you very much too for having me on your program. I'm very impressed.
So that was Professor Flomo, and I think this inspiration of Dr. Ballah is about bringing people who inspire us, who story, who actions, who not just going to church, not just being Christian, not just being one professional person, but whose story are inspiring. And I think a man who at the age of 9, 10 became disabled and everybody fell in fact in the village, by the way. He was not in a city where people were trying to take him to the hospital to kind of solve the problem, but in fact there was so many reasons why he would just stay in the village and cry and moan and say that's the end. But he, became focused. Go to school. I want to speak English. I want to not just speak Pele. I want to know how to read and write Pele. And today he's a professor, not just teaching a high school or university lecturer. And he's a Pele man, but he's not just one ordinary Pele man. He reads and writes Pele. Then he lecture other courses, and he's a man of permanent. 7 children, 5 boys, 2 girls, educated. All of his children, they are all a university product now. Grandchildren in university. That is an inspiring story. I hope Professor Flomo's story inspire you and you keep focused, you work hard, and trust God, know that God makes you and that potential you have in you, you can't allow anything stop you from becoming what you want to be. Thank you for following us, and God bless you.